guys, and welcome to another episode of Fishing the Midwest. Today, I'll be doing the anticipated video that all my fans have been asking me about. They've been asking, when's the new zombie rod video coming out? What are your thoughts about it, and how do you like it? So today, I'm going to be reviewing the new 7'3" heavy action zombie rod right here. Before I begin, I want to give a huge thanks to the Bass Brigade team on Facebook and YouTube, and a huge thanks to Lloyd as well for choosing my Spread the Love story that they were holding on their Facebook page. So huge thanks, and thanks to Zombie Rods as well. This rod right here is not your ordinary bass and stick. This thing is one of the most amazing rods I've ever felt. I've held in my hands and I've used the Shimano Cumulus, the Daiwa, the Daiwa Prestige rods. I've felt the NRXs, the Smoke rods, G. Loomis rods, the Kamara. I own a Kamara. I've held Powell's. I've held the Dobbin Champions, the Dobbin Savvies. I've held a lot of really high-priced rods and really high-quality rods, and I honestly can say that this is one of the best rods I've ever felt. Mainly because I've never felt a system like this before. And the cool thing about this system that Zombie has done with this rod is the balance system that they have. This rod, if you go on the internet or Tackle Tour, this rod has a weight of 7.5 ounces. That's extremely heavy for a rod that's only 7'3" and a casting rod, because the guides are smaller, of course, and you don't have all that bulky stuff on there if you were to have like a spinning rod. But yet it feels like a 4-ounce or a 3-ounce rod. I'm not even joking, because of the system, the balance system that Zombie has done. Your Element 21, your carrot stick rods are going to be about 3.2 ounces. Mojo Bass about 4 or 5 ounces, something like that. Your Powell's about 4 or 3 ounces, something like that. But this right here is 7.5 ounces, and you ask yourself, am I going to like this? Is this a good rod? What they've done right here is, you can see these golden spots right there. These right here are balance areas, and they're not just for cosmetics. People just think they put them there just to look cool, but they're to help the balance. With a lot of guys, what they have is they could have a really light rod. You could have a 2-ounce rod. I don't even care. But all the weight could be at the tip, and when you go to set the hook, your rod tip goes down before you even get it up. And it also is just really uncomfortable, and every time you cast, your rod tip goes down, or it doesn't feel right in your hand. But this rod right here, as you can see, you want the balance point right where the reel is. You don't want it back here or up here. So take a look at this. I'm going to hold it right there. Right where if I were to hold the rod, as you can see, look how balanced that is. It's just swaying back and forth. And if I were to move it back here, it would fall right down. But that just goes to show, you're going to put your hand right there. You're not going to put your hand back here when you're casting. You want a balance point where you're actually going to be holding the rod. It doesn't make any sense to have a balance point right up in the first section of the rod blank. But I found that was really neat with the Zombie rods, and just how they incorporated these cosmetics to add a balance to the rod. This rod has a Toray graphite blank, one of the strongest blanks out there, rod blanks out there, for heavy cover, flipping pitching rods. If you were to fish like mats and stuff like that, you would want a Toray rod blank, graphite rod blank. These guides on here, there's 9 guides, including the tip guide. They're Fuji SIC guides with stainless steel frames, so they're very strong, kind of made for super lines basically, because they're going to be fishing heavy cover, so braid and stuff like that. Of course, you need use monofilament and fluorocarbon as well with this. This is a Fuji painted reel seat, something you guys may not have seen before. I believe the Dobbin's Champion and the Savvies have the painted reel seats, but this one here is a Fuji custom painted reel seat. As you can see right there, they've got the Zombie logo right there. So this is a custom painted reel seat, which of course costs Zombie a lot of money too, and adds to the feel and the great comfortability with this. I don't really want a reel seat that's not smooth, and this is almost like glass basically without the heavy feel. The foam on here isn't like your ordinary foam. This isn't like your Vendetta foam or the foam that you get on like a Veritas or a Kamara even. It's a very compact, very firm foam. And the cool thing about this as well is if you're fishing out in cold conditions and you've got a little bit of sun, this black right here is going to absorb all that heat, and it's going to keep your rod warm, and it's not going to be, you know, one of those things that's going to be uncomfortable when you're reeling it in. So basically this rod is everything a heavy cover angler would want to use. So I do a lot of frog fishing, a lot of heavy pitching, and it's a very compact, small rod. It's not like a 7'10" rod, but yet, you know, 7'3", and it holds the attributes that a 7'10" rod would, but it's, you know, more balanced, not as heavy, and I really, really like it. You know, Zombie put a lot of time into this rod, and I can really appreciate all the things that they've done with this just by looking at it. They've got an exposed section on the reel seat right here to feel the bites, and they've got a graphite band around the top section of the reel seat, which I believe is made for, I guess, you know, feeling bites a little bit better or just cosmetic purposes. On Tackle Tour, that's got an 8.08 and an Editor's Choice Award. For me, a overall rating compared to all the rods that I've used, I own Powell's, I own a Kumara, I felt, you know, very high priced rods ranging from $500 to $300. I would probably have to say this is probably about an 8.9 overall, just because, you know, after looking and feeling it and putting the reel on this, the Shimano Corrado, it's got about an overall weight of about 14 to 15 ounces, but yet feels like the exact same weight as my Daiwa Terra in my Powell Endurance, which is just incredible. And that's one thing a lot of rod companies can't do. They can't find the perfect rod balance, and I'm really impressed with this. So again, thanks to Bass Brigade, and you can find this rod at tacklewarehouse.com, www.tacklewarehouse.com. This rod retails, the MSRP for this rod is about $311, $312 plus tax. Thanks for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time on Fishing the Midwest.